Hey, I'm back. What's up? Good morning. Happy Tuesday, Monday for me. My pipes are still a lot of talking this past weekend. A lot of beer drinking. So in recovery mode. Detox from beers and brats. Annawan Fun Days weekend. So here we are. What is up? So I'm back. I got back into town yesterday afternoon, just in time for Biscuit to beg and plead for a walk, and went to check out the house. The whole back is sided now. We ran into a couple other hiccups along the way. Of course, it's going to continue happening, I would imagine. Hopefully, it doesn't delay us further. So, but the siding is going well. Some other things are going well. So, there's really not much to report on the card rooms. I guess I didn't think far ahead about, doing my video walkthroughs of building the ultimate card room. Because it's like it goes from nothing to framed to walls, and then it's like, oh, now we got to wait for the cards. So there's really not much. Kind of just looks the same. But the rest of the house is coming along. So I'll share some pictures and stuff as we go. So Annawan Fun Days weekend, which is a blast for me. I've always loved Annawan Fun Days because I think for three reasons. It's nostalgia for me. I was born on Fun Day, so I think it's just like it's born into me. It's ingrained. I was born on Fun Days. I shared that story, I believe, on Saturday morning. My dad skipped the birth because he was at the car show. And my dad was a big car show guy. Car show. He raised a son that was into card shows. My dad was a car show guy, no D. So his daily driver in retirement was he restored classic cars, and so his last daily driver was a 69 Chevy C10 pickup truck. So my mom now takes that to car cruises and car shows. So she had that in the Annawan Fun Days car show on Saturday. Almost 140 cars in tiny Annawan, which is, and my mom said it was less than last year. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot, like 137 cars. I'm like, damn, it's a lot of cars in, a 2-block radius. And she's like, yeah, well, they had like 160 last year. I'm like, holy shit. But I think last year, well, I've been playing it smarter because when I used to go home for Fun Days, I would go on like Saturday, and then my friends would be out from high school, and I'd stay out late, and I'd feel like shit on Sunday. And then I learned Sunday's actually a funner day at Fun Days. That's the parade. It's like you feel like a badass drinking on a Sunday. So then I started going to town later on Saturday, just kind of taking it easy. So that's what I did this year. Just kind of took it easy. And then Sundays when we have like family over. Back in the day, when I was growing, I grew up an only child. I have brothers and sisters, but they were older than me. But they had like some of my nieces and nephews are of similar age, and my cousins. So they would come. So it was like playtime. So Annawan Fun Days represented I have people to play with. So that's part of the nostalgia that goes with Annawan Fun Days. We always cooked out. My dad would grill brats and dogs and burgers. As he got older, he got grumpier, and then he would say, everybody just eats and leaves. So that's one of Dad's quotes. And so we just kind of stopped grilling. And I think we did grill when my dad was battling cancer. 2000, he passed away 2016. I think we did grill out that year, and I think because he knew, he didn't know if he would make another Fun Day. So he wanted to grill one last time. So we grilled in 16, and then my mom just kind of like, don't want to do it. And, usually I was like, I don't care about, but for some reason this year, it's like, we need to start grilling again. We need to bring that tradition back. So thanks to my buddy Cooter, gave me some great brat advice. Worked to perfection. So what I did was Saturday night, we took it easy Saturday. I got in about 5 Saturday afternoon. We hung out on the deck for a little bit. Some friends came over, and went inside, I don't know, 8:00, somewhere around there. I brought some cards in to look through from my Goodwill palette, and I'm like, I'm going to start boiling the brats. So I boiled them in, gosh, how much beer did I use? I think I boiled 6 cans of Bud Light, and so then after boiling, I put them in a beer bath. So they bathed in Bud Light overnight. And then I took them out of the fridge about an hour before I put them on the grill during the parade. And so here's the thing about Annawan Fun Days grilling. And now I understand why my dad, it kind of annoyed him grilling, because you want to have the food ready as soon as the parade's over, because there's stuff going on uptown. And like the kids, they don't want to hang out with the adults. They want to go uptown and play on the rides and games and stuff. So I'm grilling during the parade, and then I've got people, and I'm like, okay, I'll put these brats on. I'm going to go talk. And then all of a sudden it's hard to get away when there's, 20, 25 people, and you see them once, twice, 3 times a year, brother, sister, cousins, nieces, nephews. So that was difficult. However, it was like, and Cooter mentioned it, bathing them overnight, it kind of, takes that fat out. And so you're not getting flare-ups on the grill. Didn't get a single flare-up. It was beautiful. I've never grilled a brat and not had like, little squirts of stuff coming out. That's what she said. So turned out great. Did hot dogs for the kids, brats. Of course, bought too many. You might as well have too many than not enough. Brats turned out great. So thanks, Cooter, for the advice on the brats. Turned out excellent. Let's get to the chat. Harlan in the house. Thank you, sir. Good morning from Chavez Ravine's hindquarters. Time for some hot coffee. Angel Baby cards. He's been up all night on eBay. How about that? Good morning, Kyle. Victor, good morning. Donald Davis in the house, the card hobbyist. Kevin, good morning. Brian Wolf is here. Thank you. Boston Smoke, thank you. A Collector's Dream, what's up? Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Get that coffee. Good morning, George. Cooter in the house. Thank you, Cooter. Thank you, Dan. Hit the like button. It is my birthday, June 6th. I am the big 4-1 today. 41. Red Light 34, what's up? Andy Mack in the house. David, good morning. Dan, what's happening? So yeah, Annawan Fun Days weekend. So there's nostalgia. Love Fun Days, nostalgia. It's around my birthday. Sometimes Fun Days is on my birthday. That was the best, like growing up as a kid, like having a Fun Days birthday. And then just seeing like, my brother and sister, I only see them once, twice, maybe 3 times a year. So always, and usually I run into Sunday after the parade, we went uptown, and a couple of my classmates were up there, so hung out with them. And it's like, this is the only time we hang out. Fun Days. Well, hey, it's a good time to come back. So thank you, Donald. Thank you, Red Light. So yeah, what else is going on? I did list, so Saturday night, I decided I wanted to dig through some of my palette, because I still have somebody, what I can't remember which relative it was, but they're like, how many cards total do you have? And I said, it's roughly 3 million. And he's like, no. Well, how do you, like, where do you keep them? And I'm like, here, I'll show you some. I've got about 200,000 in my car right now. So I opened my hatch and just holy shit. like, yeah, this is stuff I haven't even got into the house yet. So I pulled some in on Saturday night. There was a box of a lot of like player lots. Marcus Allen, Rod Woodson, Mike Singletary. Who else was in there? Players like that. So I listed, I think, 4 or 5 player lots. I did sell the Marcus Allen. I think it was 100 card lot of Marcus Allen. Sold for $20. Happy with that. So I listed like 5 of those. We'll see how they fare. There's still a bunch more. There's other players that I didn't list. Bruce Smith, Cortez Kennedy. So save those for a rainy day. That was about it. Didn't find any big hits or anything. A lot of the stuff that's still remaining, but you never know. You never know when you start digging in a box what may appear. You start flipping through. It's like, oh, this is a junk box, but then all of a sudden there's a little pile of hidden cards. So we'll see. I still have a ton of cards in the car from this latest pallet that I've got to get in the house. Today's cleaner day. So I've got a messy basement. My wife last night says, did you clean the basement? The cleaners are coming tomorrow. And I'm like, no. I'll do that in the morning, honey. So that's what I got to do. I've got a lot of shipping to catch up on, a lot of pre-cleaning for the cleaners. So, so that's a bummer. Fast Eddie's what's happening. Happy birthday. I'll be 36 on the 16th. Well, happy early birthday to you. Zach and Porter, good morning. James says the card shows were slow on Saturday, Sunday. I was kind of wondering if they would, and I think we're going to get into that time where card shows are going to be slow. June, July, August, probably even into September, before we start seeing an increase in the fall and in winter months. So yeah, my next, I can already tell my June 17th show is going to be, the May show was down from, January through April. And I think June's probably going to be down. I don't even know if I'll sell out dealer tables on June 17th. So we'll see. Hey, speaking of that, did you see my video that I put out on Saturday? So that was kind of like the weekend drop, the old Friday news dump. Talking Tatis, what is up? You look okay post fun. A lot of fun was had. A lot of Bud Lights. Hey, before I move on to talking about card shows and dealers, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Not a single person said anything about drinking Bud Light. When I set up at the Loves Park show last month, I probably had 10 guys say, Bud Light, why are you drinking Bud Light? Not a single person said anything about Bud Light at Annawan Fun Days. I was shocked. I really was. I thought there would be a lot of comments on Bud Light, that whole stuff. So I was very impressed. Very impressed. Shane, good morning. So let's get into what I dropped on Saturday. I received a letter in the mail last week from the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, which is, I get letters from them all the time, for business stuff. But this was something different. This was regarding, in big block letters. Do I have it? I do. And the video is up. If you want me to just get to the point, just go watch the video. A little longer form here this morning. Temporary event information request. I'm like, ooh, uh-oh. Operators of temporary events in the state of Wisconsin are required to file Form S-240, Wisconsin Temporary Event Report, to submit information about all sellers at an event within 10 days of the event close. Our records show you were an event operator of Madison Card Show on May 27th, 2023. Our revenue field agents may attend your event this year to verify registration information and collect outstanding liabilities. I don't know what that means. And then it goes on, how do I submit Form S-240? And there's links and all that. If you do not submit Form S-240 by the due date, you may acquire the following: a $200 penalty for the first failure to submit, a $500 penalty for each subsequent failure to submit. So that's on me. So I received this ahead of the May show, and in fact, I got it the day before the May show. I didn't collect that information from my dealers. I wanted to talk to my accountant. I wanted to talk to other promoters. So I didn't do my due diligence at that show. But moving forward, June 17th, you'll see those forms at the Madison Card Show. A couple other card shows that happened this past weekend. They were passing around information and these forms as well. So here we are. Here's the thing. This has been there is, if you're in Wisconsin, or if you have any interest in this particular topic, there is a webinar that's on YouTube that I just learned about it Saturday, so I haven't had a chance to watch it. I will have it on in the background today as I ship. So I'm going to watch that and learn more about it. Apparently, this is still in the education phase, so they're just kicking it off. So we'll see how it rolls. But a couple other promoters here in Wisconsin have received letters or emails regarding these forms. So you'll start seeing those. I don't know what I'm sure there's going to be pushback from dealers. I know there will be. So, it's going to be a learning experience. Like I said in my video the other day, don't take it out on the promoters. Just smile and don't be a dick. Smile and don't be a dick. So that's what I can say. We're just the middleman. Be a good little tax abiding citizen and do your thing. So Kyle, what's up, Mark? Thank you very much, sir. Kyle says, I'm surprised it's taken this long for the Wisconsin Department of Revenue to contact you. When I was attending trade shows in Wisconsin in the late 90s, I had to register as a reseller and fill out those forms annually. That's interesting. So I was aware of this. When I started the Madison Card Show, myself and Johnny was my co-promoter. We were going through all the, it's like, what do we need? And I'm like, I've set up in card shows in Wisconsin and Illinois. I've never had to have like a reseller's license. I've never had to have a permit. I've never, there's been no forms to fill out or anything like that. Just come, pay, leave. So he was digging around and he found this on the Wisconsin Department of Revenue website. This is, 2 years ago, but apparently this law's been on the books for 50 years. So it's not something new. I've also, in talking with another promoter, he's aware that these forms are required at one of the flea markets in the state of Wisconsin. So it's nothing new, and there are other states that require this information. And I'm sure every state probably has something similar. They just don't enforce it, and that's what's happened in Wisconsin. It's been on the books, just not enforced. So we'll see if how heavily they will enforce, but I'm gonna be a good little boy and do my part. Where we at? Rich says, happy birthday. The Wisconsin tax man is coming. Yes, they are. Ziggy's in the house. What's up, Hobby News Daily? Good day to you and cheers. Talking Tati says, let's give Beau some likes for his birthday. Take a pause for the cause. I like it. Take a pause for the cause. Thank you, sir. Brian says, I had to pay taxes at 12 years old in Miami as they were giving out fines at shows back in the late 80s. So this is nothing new. It's just new for us in Wisconsin, at least in the last 10 years or so. The first show I did in Wisconsin would have been 2015 or 16, and nothing like this was required. But again, I know not every flea market requires this form in Wisconsin, but some do. I think it's the Wilmot Flea Market does require these forms. Where we at? Johnny Boy Cards in the house. Good morning and happy birthday. Thank you, sir. Uncle Rich says, I'm shocked we have not had the tax people hit the Dallas card show yet. Yeah, I wonder how Texas is with that. Rich says, I had tax licenses in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And is this something that's just gone by the wayside? Like a lot of people are commenting, yeah, I had to do this in the 90s. I had to do this in, whatever decade. Is this just something that is now coming out? Hey, $5. Woo! Thank you, whoever sent that. Who sent that? Red Light 34, birthday beer on me. Hey, thank you. So I wonder if this is just something that is now taking precedent. I'm sure there's politics behind it, which we won't dive into. But yeah. Michael Renicky, what's up? Good morning. Collector's Dream says not happening here in Florida. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Very few taxes in Florida, no state tax, etc. Yep, that's Florida. Texas is businesses love Texas. Angel Baby says a couple of schools of thought here, thinking I'd have no problem with paying my fair share via the hobby. Okay. Where we at? Uncle Rich says the good news is with free admission, you don't have that issue. If free admission, thus no tax. Yes, sir. There you go. See? See, Uncle Rich? I didn't even know that's a reason I didn't want to do. I just blamed it on the venue. It's not feasible to have admission when you're spread out in, 2 ballrooms in a hallway. But yes, I don't have to pay taxes on the admission fees. Mark Hoyle, what's up? Good morning. Thank you, sir. When the hobby was booming and there were a lot of promoters who did not like each other, then the dimes were dropped and the tax people showed up. Aha! And where are we at now? The hobby has been booming. Although now it's funny how long the tail is with the hobby boom. Go back to the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, and cards were investments and they were going to pay for your kids' college fund. And fast forward 20 years, they're worthless almost. And they're not paying that set you bought, that complete top set, sealed, not even opened, of 89 tops. You paid $35 in 1989. Now, 20 years later, kids getting ready for college. Hey, let's sell the baseball card investment. How come this is only worth $5 now? And lots of hearts were broken. But I feel that long tail of the hobby dragged on for 20 plus years, 25 years. Like, I've got these cards. I mean, I was hearing it wasn't until, and here's the thing, it's a long tail on each set. So the long tail of the hobby boom lasted into the mid 2000s. When I was working in radio, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'd have people like, and I dabbled in cards. I wasn't like super collecting back then, but I, still collected cards. And when they'd hear that, they'd be like, oh, I've got a sealed 1989, never been opened. In fact, I had this discussion with one of my high school classmates. He's like, I've got a bunch, you got to take a look. And I'm like, you'd be surprised how much they're not worth anymore. And you try to break it to them gently, but there's a long tail both ways. So we had to deal with us as a group within the hobby. We had to like break the news to our non-collector friends that their cards weren't worth anything. But I spent all this money. Yeah. What goes up comes down. And then they were being told this for 10 years, 15 years. And all of a sudden the hobby boom comes out. You got that long tail. Oh, cards aren't. When I went into selling cards full time almost 2 years ago, I had people non-collecting. Well, I thought cards weren't worth anything. Well, the cards you grew up with aren't worth it. The 80s and 90s stuff, that's not worth anything. But like the new stuff, and actually some of that is worth something now. come back around. Your 1990 unopened box of cards, your set's still not worth anything, but you have any unopened boxes, those are worth a lot more than they were 10 years ago. And I feel like we're starting another long tail where we're still in this hobby boom, and now the Department of Revenue thinks, they're late. Well, it's still, card shows are still, there's, my card show started at 17 tables in April 2021, and now it's at 125. We had 140 because I oversold a couple months ago. So it's still booming. Is there as much money being spent, tossed around in those card show rooms as it was 2 years ago? No, but there's still a lot of interest. There's still a lot of sales. Where are we at? Uncle Rich says when the hobby was booming and there were a lot of promoters. We talked about that. That was in the 1980s. Hobby News Daily. Thank you, Ziggy, fellow Gemini. Cooter says the Texas Comptroller has an audit function and gladly uses it. That's how they maintain state revenue since they don't have a personal income tax. Rich says, I do have a Texas sales tax license because a promoter who is no longer with us kind of threatened us all with dropping the dime to have the tax man show up. They must love me because my sales are zero nowadays. The tax forms at Madison Card Show will only bother the vendors who have been cheating on taxes. Cooter says, I'm waiting for the day a state goes after someone when they brag about their 100K card show deal on YouTube. That's a really good point, Cooter. That's a really good point because there's all this flashing on Instagram. Look at all these hundreds. We did this deal, $27,000. Guess what? The government wants a piece of that pie. They're hungry. They're hungry for your deals. That's a great point. Bragging about your 50K, 25K, 100K. Here you go. Good morning, Paul Heath. Angel Baby says, honestly, I can't help but smile when I hear these types of comments. Honestly, the better strategy, which tends to work, is focus on the right player. Spreading yourself out too far causes a variety of problems. Trying to be all things to all people is madness. That's a great point. And I think a lot of people fail in business because there's no focus. Mark, thank you. He says, make it a picture. I will do that. That's a good Angel Baby brings up a great point because I had a conversation with my brother-in-law Sunday, and my brother-in-law is a entrepreneur, and sometimes it's almost like he just wants to get into get rich quick schemes, but he's very smart about it. So we were having a conversation, and he's got his hands in everything, and he does, for the most part, he does it all pretty well. So he's like a national territory manager. He owned a piece of a food distribution company in Chicago, sold his piece out. Now he's just like this national sales director manager thing. He owns a bar, a sports bar, opened up, bought like half the block and opened up a CBD place. It's not like the actual, but it's like is it CBD, which is like legal in most states, I think. You get it at the gas station. So he opened that. So he wants to hold a card show, and he bought this building, and like the sports bars in one part, and it's all opened up. And so the CBD place is in one part, and then there's like just an open space. I'm like, all right. He's like, let's do a card show. Let's promote the card show. And so he sees, people go into the bar and, I think they do some food. So maybe they'll spend some money there just to kind of, promote his business. So I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not too thrilled about it, but it'd be kind of fun to go home and do something like that. I'm like, once we get closer to fall, I'll come down because I haven't been there in a while. I'll look at the space. Do you have tables? Space and tables are the most important parts. Marketing, we don't have I can handle that. So possibly it'd be a small show, 30 tables probably. And I don't even know what type of space he has. So he's like, I got plenty of tables. I'm like, okay. So it'd be a small in Kewanee. So maybe in the fall, do something like that. And I've wanted to do, because there's not too many card shows in that area. And I've wanted to do something like in my home. There's a hotel off the interstate in Annawan. They've got a banquet hall. I called, and it was, how much was it? It was not, trying to think of price. It was almost as much as what I pay in Madison for the Sheraton. um, and I get 125 to 140 tables at the Sheraton. This would have been 50. I'm like, how many tables do you have? 50. 50 tables. Okay. I can't make money doing this. So I scrapped that idea. And now card shows, it's like, now there's, I think there's still a need in that area. But I just don't want to spread myself, kind of going back to what Angel Baby says. Kind of got off on a tangent there. I don't want to spread myself too thin. So my brother-in-law says, so he's like, what do you sell? And I'm like, well, cards. And he's like, what else could you sell? Like, what else is there money in? And I'm like, the cards is my lane. I'm going to stick to my lane. You may have seen Card Dealer Pro put out, we did that panel at Collecticon last month, and Ted asked me from Collects asked, how I buy my collections. And really, I don't buy collections. What I do, most of what I buy is what I would say it's a bulk lot. It's not really a collection. I've probably only bought one collection, maybe two, but most of it's just bulk. And by bulk, it's somebody else buys a collection and they skim the really good stuff off the top. And then some of the other stuff is just in the bulk lot. Like, we don't want to deal with $20 and under cards. And that's my gravy. So that's, and Uncle Rich made a comment about that. Uncle Rich made a comment about, you don't get many home. I can't remember. He said it more eloquently. Home runs with it. But basically it's a lot of base hits. And sometimes there's, maybe not a grand slam, but something I would consider a home run. If I can find like in the Goodwill pallets, like if I find a $100 card, that's a home run. Cause I'm paying $500 for the whole thing. And typically I'm expecting a lot of like $1.50 cards and hopefully pull some $10, maybe $20 cards, and anything above that's just cherry on the top. So just kind of staying in my lane, and that's what I do. I would like to dabble. Zach and Porter for the blue tape. Thank you. I appreciate that. my roll, I'm getting low, so I'm gonna need some more. Where was I at? I can't remember. Lost my train of thought. Got blue tape in my eyes. So let's go to the chat. Where we at? Let's see. So yeah, kind of like just staying in my lane. Uncle Rich, see you tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Angel Babies, Four Corners, Nolan Ryan, Ken Griffey Jr., Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and a splash of Marvel Spider-Man. So, I've considered, like, I buy a lot of bulk bargain boxes, and I know a good price to pay based on and some people, a lot of people ask, what's a good price to pay for a quarter box? And I can't answer that because every quarter box is different. A quarter box at this table at $50 might be like, I'm going to pass on that. But a quarter box at the next table, I might be willing to spend $150. So it's all in the contents. If it's a good dime box, there's a dealer that sets up every once in a while around here, and he's got dime boxes, and they're loaded with $1.50 cards. And you're like, well, that's what, 35 cents a card. But if I can get it and I bought a couple off of them last summer for, I think, $50, and basically it's a penny a card. And there's a lot of that stuff where, yes, it's $1.50 free shipping, but a lot of that stuff sells, and I can sell in volume to buyers. You're talking Bo Jacksons and Ken Griffey Jr. It's junk wax, but I'm finding that sells better than some of the new stuff right now. So it all depends on the contents and how do I know this? It's just trial and error experience. The more you dabble in different things, and for me, it's not a risk. $50 and you only make 30 back, you're losing $20. Yeah, you don't want to lose $20 every week, but it's a little bit of trial and error and being smart with those, small little gambles. I've thought about going bigger gambles, and well, maybe I should try like if somebody has a $5 bargain box, but I'm just not as aware of the market for those types of cards. I know some of the $1.50 free shipping cards. I know what I can sell, and I know they'll sell. They'll trickle in. Usually, I'll make if it's a big bunch that I add into my eBay store, and I can sell 10% of them right away, like within 24 to 48 hours, and then the rest is gravy. So it's kind of sticking to my lane. I'd like to get some of those margins up in order to scale monetarily instead of volume, but I've got to be smart about it, and I've got to know what I can buy and sell, and so that's just something I'm going to have to learn and gain experience on my own. Grinding for good morning, happy birthday. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Brian Wolf, not sure, but I think you were supposed to pay taxes on a trade also. If biz to biz, probably. They want a cut of everything, right? Card shuffler in the house. Herman is here. What's up, Herman? Bink says, what bar does he own in K-Town? It is End Zone Sports Bar. Hobby News Daily. There is money in 420 CBD, and if you can combine with cards, boom, 420 cards. Heck yeah. Angel Baby, exactly. I focus that way. I don't need to know the life history of each and every flash of the pans that comes along every year. Just saying. Michael Renicky says, no taxes on a trade considered a like-kind exchange. There you go. Thank you, Herman. Ziggy says, do you buy modern lots too? Do subs ever send you donations? I have bunches of cards under $2. I normally give to my LCS to give to kids. However, I suspect they end up in repacks, and that sucks. Yeah. Yeah, you never know when you give stuff to like a shop unless you really know the shop owner. I do buy modern lots, but I'm very careful with what I buy modern. Football, basketball, I try to stay away. It's not, I don't think I have the volume for football, and I think this is probably anecdotal. I should probably just go and look in my eBay store and search out how many football, how many basketball, how many baseball, because basketball is a very small percentage. And my basketball sales basically suck. Football sales kind of suck. And I even notice, like, say I have, who's like the Mike Trout of basketball? LeBron. At one time, it was probably Ja and Zion, Giannis. Some of those cards, Curry, some of those guys, I'll put in my store for $1.50 free shipping, and they sit. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on? If I put Mike Trout $1.50, it typically sells pretty fast. Same with some other players. And that could be because I'm not as focused on basketball. My eBay store is probably 5% basketball, 8% basketball. I would bet it's under 10. A majority of my store is baseball because that's what I know. And there's consistent sales. I'm consistent with my sales in it. So I just kind of like stay in my lane. But last night I listed some new stuff from the Goodwill palette. This was the stuff that was on the top where they kind of tease you with the photos. So what did I list? If I go to my eBay store, because I think I have like new listings on the homepage to my eBay store. But there was a Bob McAdoo rookie card from like the 70s. What else was there? Oh, there was a Damian Lillard Slam magazine insert from a couple years ago which I always know those are good, good sellers. Um, what else was there? That might have been it. I guess. Okay, now I've opened it up. There's some a couple football autographs. Antonio Freeman, 1995 in his college uniform autograph. Low serial number, only 7,750 of those made. The Bob McAdoo rookie, which was worth more than I expected. Russell Wilson rookie card, which I thought those would have dropped in price. A Leonard Truck Robinson autograph from Panini Flux. So those were a couple things that I put up from my in my store yesterday. Let's see. I thought this wasn't gambling. Lots of bargains at my local show. Picked up a whole bunch of autographed Hall of Fame postcards at a great price. Excellent. Yeah, I won't, man, my card shows, I've got a busy summer. Like I've got crap going on every weekend. This coming weekend, I don't have anything, which is going to be nice. Because then the following weekend is the Madison Card Show, June 17th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. The following weekend is a bachelor party. The following week, and then we get into potentially house movie. We asked, my wife and my mother-in-law went and met with our GC yesterday morning to get a timeline so we could get on the schedule for the movers, and a timeline could not be given. Not good. We were hoping that weekend, which I think is July 1st and 2nd. Is that a weekend? That was the weekend we were hoping to get moved in, give us a 2-week buffer before we close on this house. So those first 2 weeks in July, there's going to be a lot of moving. And then July 22nd is the Madison Card Show, which is the Saturday before the National. And then on Wednesday, I'll be headed down to Rosemont for 5 days for the National. And then hopefully have a break the following weekend. So it's going to be, in July 15th is the wedding. I'm a groomsman in a wedding. So it's going to be a very stressful July. Where are we at? Let's see. My approach focus is more on high grade in lieu of quantity. And that's the thing about cards. And when you're selling cards, there's so many approaches. You can do what I do and just buy bulk and, grind it out $1.50 at a time. And then if you're lucky enough to find collections and lots, like Goodwill pallets and stuff like that, you can focus on quality. You can focus on grading. There's so many different lanes within the hobby to make money. Because my father was an artist and I am an artist, I can draw and easily see flaws in low-grade junk wax, but that's just me. Boomba in the house. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Zach says there is no Mike Trout in basketball because basketball players are recognized when they go to the mall. That's a very good point. Although I would recognize, I don't think it's fair for me to say I'd recognize Mike. Would a non like baseball fan recognize Mike Trout walking in the mall? Well, first off, I don't think malls exist anymore. Zach, you're showing your age. But I bet, like, say you're in Chicago and you're at Water Tower Plaza or whatever it's called, and you see like somebody on the Bulls that's not even a superstar probably get recognized. Maybe this is not a fair example because they're a Bulls player in Chicago, they probably recognize. All right. Let's see. I'm just gonna end that thought. Hobby News Daily. Ziggy says baseball collectors seem to player collect more, football, basketball, more city team collectors. That's an interesting point. Zach agrees. That is an interesting point. I do see a lot of my sales in baseball. I've made huge volume sales on like John Smoltz cards. And I had a guy come in and buy a ton of Juan Gonzalez and Ivan Rodriguez cards. We're talking like over 100 cards. Smoltz is another one. George Brett. George Brett moves really fast in my eBay store, especially anything serial numbered or color. Who are some of the other players that just move? And I mean, I'll have like bulk sales. Smoltz, Rodriguez, and Gonzalez come to mind because it's been recent on those sales. Tigers 727 late to the show. Tigers look awful, frustrated. That's a bummer. The Cubs also look awful, so I feel your pain. Angel Baby says, Beau's making great points, but any word on the best players in 2023 Tops Update Baseball? Let's see. So Anthony Volpe and Jordan Walker are in Series 2. So I'm not sure who will be an update. Anybody else? Usually I follow this closer than what I have been paying. I haven't really been paying attention to the rookie card market in 2023. It does seem like they're coming in a little faster than years past, as far as, we're not holding players back for rookie cards. Because Volpe and Walker will be in Series 2. I'm not. Are there any other like big names that have debuted this year without a rookie card and that isn't on the Series 2 checklist? I'm not sure there are. Update might be kind of a dud in terms of rookie class. I would just select, copy, paste a particular title into Excel, then sort the selected sold items. That way you'll know exactly what to sell. That's a great point. Cooter says, please, for the love of God, record a time-lapse video of you trying to pack your card room to move. With so little time left, I'll get the popcorn started. My wife actually suggested that, and I'm like, I don't even know how to do that. That would be cool, but I don't know how to do that. How would I do that? Flipping Sports Guy, we've still got a ton of malls around here. The card shows in them are just horrible. Yeah, mall shows, we still have a few within we don't have, well, I guess Rockford has a mall show, I think. But it's somebody told me there's like 2 card dealers and the rest are like candles and so it's not really a card show. It's just a show. I think, is it Eau Claire, Wisconsin? Eau Claire has a big mall show that's popular and a good show. There's one in Peru, Illinois that I think is okay. But yeah, for the most part, mall shows are just kind of bummers. And we have malls around here, but nobody goes to them. It's pretty sad walking into a mall these days. Zach says, I was at Old Orchard on Saturday and I could barbell find a spot. Malls are rebranding themselves like they are all owned by fanatics. George Brett sells surprisingly well. Yes. Lots of pro athletes come into my store unrecognized even by people wearing a jersey the player plays for. Update will likely have second rookies of players like Volpe. Yeah, they'll have like the rookie debut cards. Let's see. Riley Green is pretty hot based on my research. Usually the dealers we have at our mall shows are the scummiest dealers. Well, that's not good. So yeah, rest of the week, I've got some shipping to do. A lot of shipping today. I've got to clean the damn basement for the cleaners. I've got to clean so they can clean. Let's see what else is going on. iPhone camera has a time-lapse option just like it has video. But then so how do you do it? Like, I don't want to have my iPhone 24 hours a day taking video. Like, how do you do time lapse? I would think you just have to have a camera devoted to just recording 24 hours. Or I guess just the amount of time you're actually doing some work. Just pulled the hot players listing now. Hold on. Henry S. I saw the funniest comment. Do not apply icy hot to the stomach or inner thigh. It will reach the family jewels and you will regret it. Was that in this chat? Sometimes I don't have live chat on. So, I might have missed some. I had top chat on, so I might have missed some live chat, some regular chats. Let me see. No, maybe not. I'm going through. Did I say had a card shuffler? I think so. Yeah, I don't think I missed any live chats. Okay, so where are we at? Shane says there's a mall show near me, and one time on Sunday, most were gone already. So I went back next time on a Saturday before work. There were 8 dealers left, and all others left already. Jeez. Let's see. Oh, Riley Green has a stress fracture in his leg. That's not good. Flawed Thinker, good question. Thoughts on the Fujitsu 7030? Found a used one with just 500 scans, but don't want to pull the trigger yet. So I would ask the price. I would say 300 is a good price point. If you can get it for 250 to 325, I think that's a good price point. I would be leery if it's less than 250, and I would not pay $100. I would be a little leery on that. I would ask some questions. That's really cheap. I would be that raises some red flags, because typically that's a used in good shape. That's a $300 scanner. So I'd be a little leery of $100 on that. So ask questions. Maybe ask for a video of seeing it in action. Henry says stolen. Yeah, I guess could be stolen. It's missing the power supply and the feeding tray. Okay. So then I guess you got to go see how much those things cost. So with stuff missing, then I see, and then it, it's almost like, I don't know how much those items are on the secondary market, but if it's like 200, maybe you can just find it easier to just pay 250, 300 for, everything working. But that's me. About 60 to 70 together. Okay, that's not bad. As a machine, I loved. I used the 7030 for a year, and it worked great. So the only reason I stopped using it was because I got the 8170. So yeah, I would recommend the 7030. There's a couple downsides to it, but it didn't necessarily make it to where I wouldn't use it or recommend it. The two knocks on it, it's not good at all with Chrome cards. The 8170 I found, and there's workarounds, but it's still kind of tough. Let's see. The main thing was you can't change the background color, and it's kind of difficult to get it. It scans it really tight, so sometimes it misses edging. That's the only knocks I had on it. It's a little slower because it does 30 scans a minute. I always got 30 scans. So it does 30 scans a minute. Your 8170 is going to do 70 scans a minute. Your 7160 is going to do 60 scans a minute. So yeah. But I mean, if you can get it at a good price, that sounds like a good price. You just may have to do a little work on buying those things that it's missing. So yeah, not bad. Angel Baby says Brett Beatty, Julio Rodriguez, Michael Harris, Adley Rushman, Gunnar Henderson. I think Gunnar Henderson is really struggling right now. Andy Mack went to the card store in the Rockford Mall a while back, unimpressed. I've never been there, so I can't tell you firsthand, but I've heard a lot of the same remarks. Unimpressed. Angel Baby cards, Seiya Suzuki, Patrick Wisdom. Let's see. Where are we at? Andy Max says expect to replace the rollers on that scanner. Angel Baby says I love the 7160, but I'm updating drivers at the moment. Sal Dougie in the house. Good morning to you. Better late than never. Herman says I gave $350 for my used one. Yeah, so that's kind of on the high end. Like $250 to $350, I think is for a used 7030 is right in the wheelhouse. Angel Baby says, shout out to Fujitsu, aka I know now they're is it Rico? Very nice service contact, $100, no questions asked, no fuss, no muss. Right now I use a flat top and can do 8 at a time, but then have to flip them, just trying to save time. Yeah, I would definitely recommend a feed scanner over a flatbed if you want to do any type of volume. You betcha, Angel Baby. Flipping Sports Guy says the 7030 isn't too bad with Chrome cards. It really struggles with the Prism, though. Yeah, the Panini Chromes is tough. Paper Stream lets you adjust the edges to give you a border so people can see the edges better. Henry doesn't scan cards. I use my phone for TCB purposes and crop the images. Flipping Sports Guy says my problem has been occasional scratching, but I send things through with sleeves and it's just fine. Let's see. Yep, but they're calling those rollers consumables. So that's what I had for today. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Check out a little more on the video on the Department of good thing that's got a lid on it. Department of Revenue. And I'm going to check out that webinar that they have as well, State of Wisconsin. So if you bought anything from my eBay store this weekend, anything like after Saturday, I'll be getting that shipped out hopefully today. And I've got to go clean. Department of oh shit. Yeah, right. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Having a good hair day. It was a hat weekend. Oh, Herman got the 7160. Okay, 7160. So $350 for the 7160 is a really good price point. Because that's the newer model, faster, has a little more perks to it than the 7030. So hit the like button, subscribe, eBay store link in the description. Have a great, I almost said Monday. It's Tuesday. It's my Monday. It's Tuesday. Shane, what's up? Keep the free beers going. I'm going to have to, I don't know if I'm going to have birthday beers today because I'm still in recovery from fun. I had too much fun on fun days. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Shane, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, hit the eBay store. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I think tomorrow we'll pull out, check out the Facebook group before I go. Let's shout out the Facebook group. We've got some topic questions. Let's see. We want to drop the link, share, copy. Okay, so here's the Facebook group. If you're not already in, check the Facebook group out. So we've got some, holy cow, 82 comments on the, oh wait, no, that's eBay store. Oh, that's eBay store. Okay, so I don't know, but I'll find it. So thank you, Angel Baby. So have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.